Hello, I'm Brian from How to Automotive. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the 2880 4.5-inch angle grinder by Milwaukee tool. So come with me. I'm going to show you a few specs on the tool, and then right after that, we're going to put the tool to work. I got a project right here behind me, my project Slickstone here. We're doing a lift kit, and we have to grind off brackets and stuff like that. So this is the perfect tool for that job. And we're going to grind the brackets off and try to make them look like they have never been there at all. And we're going to use this tool for the main purpose of that, and all the different accessories to go along with it. So I'll show you the tool in action, and you'll get to see exactly what it's capable of doing. That way, if you're interested in buying one of these, you will know exactly what to expect from the tool. So with that being said, let's get to work. So as you may know, there's all kinds of accessories that you can use on your angle grinders. And I wanted to give you a little demonstration on how to swap everything out. So the first thing I like to do is disconnect the battery. That way we don't accidentally trigger it and then cause something to fling off or damage or cut ourselves or injure ourselves. So I disconnect the battery so we get safety. Next is I take the little thing here and I press the little tab on the shield here and slide, and it comes off. Now we can switch our adapters in and out. It's pretty simple. On the back side, you push the button here, and this will lock the chuck on here. So then you take your spanner wrench, turn it free, spin it, and you can swap out your different accessories. Now I wanted to show you another thing about it. Is this little accessory can come off, so you can use something like this where you would screw it on. Then you would put this accessory back on with the slotted onto the slotted gear here onto the grinder here, lock it in place. Put your adapter on. Now you have two sides. You can either put the bevel side down for an adapter like this, or the flat side down for something that would work better on a accessory like this. Alright, a couple other features about the tool is it has a removable handle here that you can swap from the left to the right. It's also kind of rubber mounted for vibration dampening, for comfort in the use. It features a paddle shifter, so you have to flip the safety lock here, flip it, and you can squeeze it. It is a variable trigger. It spins up to 8,500 RPMs without a load on it. Another cool feature it has is if you look down here at the tail piece here, it has this little little screen here that you can pop off. Now this prevents debris from when you're grinding being sucked up into the motor and all the electronics in the tool here. And then it has an exhaust right underneath the guard here. So if you rotate the guard out of the way, you can see the exhaust. So it draws air in here, keeps the electronics and motor and everything cool, and exhaust out here, and it kind of helps clear the area of what you're working on with the exhaust blowing it out. So this little mesh screen here prevents debris from being sucked inside of it. You can clean this out every now and then just pop it back on, and it just kind of flexes on. So you just flex it back on into position, lock it down, good to go. Now you're ready to use it. The guard here is maneuverable in 5 different positions. So you just squeeze the little handle at the back, and you can rotate it to whatever position you want to, depending on what you're working on. And like I just showed you, you just pop this little guard, the secondary guard here, off. And you'll use this in different applications from different types of grinding modes and stuff. If you want to use something like the wire brush here, you can completely take the inner guard off. The way you do that, as I'll show you here, I'll lock it here, crack this free, remove the guard by operating it like this, spinning it 180, and it'll pop off completely. Then you can put on a wire brush like this with a screw on there, and then you can do whatever you need to do with the wire brush. Putting it back on is just simple. You line it up with the tabs, and then you can just press down and rotate. And as you can see, when you press the tab, these little notches here is your 5 settings here. So setting number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There you go. So those are the features of the tool. Now we're going to go put it to work. All right, so now that we got all the suspension parts out of here, now we need to do is, for the fun part of the job here, and probably the hardest part of this whole long arm kit install, is to remove the original bracket here. So we need to cut this off. And the tool of choice for me is going to be this 4-inch angle grinder here. I'm using the Milwaukee one. So I'm going to throw on my face shield here, and basically I'm just going to start cutting here. You can see the welds. I'm going to try to cut the welds off. All right, we are at the point of no return. We're going to start hacking this off. So this is not going to be fun. It's going to take some time. Different angles of the dangle getting in here, but the cool thing is the adjustability of the tool here. So I could just flip the guard here and get in here and make different cuts. So I'll do that now. Looks like the handle might be in the way. So I'll take the handle off. Whatever is easiest. You know, this is not going to be easy, but the tool is working good so far. So I'm just going to. The toughest part was getting in a position where the sparks weren't raining down on me. So far, about halfway through this bracket, I've used about half the battery of a 6 amp hour battery here. This is the high output battery. It's recommended with this tool. And I've pretty much chewed through almost one full cutting disc here. Knock this off. Then it'll be easier to get to the bracket here to cut this bracket off, and then once I get this bracket cut off, I'll grind the frame smooth, and I'll show you that process. So now that I got that one off, now I can get access to make the final cut around on the welds here, and just cut right along the weld and make it nice and easy, and then grind it all flat and smooth. So after a good hour and a half or so of work, you know, doing this with bare minimal tools here, I got the bracket off. Now I'm going to clean the bracket, the mounting surface up here. And I started a little bit already. So I got the bracket off, removed. So I'm going to smooth this out a little bit and get it ready for paint, and then paint it up. And I switched from a grinding disc to a sanding disc to smooth everything out, make everything nice and smooth. So as you can see, the bracket is gone, but there left some scarring from where the welds were, where I had to make some cuts and incisions. Now you can fill this in with weld and weld in all the holes and gaps, and then use your grinder and grind it off smooth and make it absolutely flat. I don't really care about that too much. I'm just going to fog it in with some primer paint and call it good. So in my project here, I got this bracket that was made for a different style shock. It's kind of this style shock, but inverted. So this was designed to protect the housing on a different brand of a shock. And for my setup, it's not going to work. So on my project, I'm just going to cut the excess off right here. I'm going to use my new angle grinder. So I'm going to press these and change the angle so now I can cut from the bottom. Alright, I'm starting to see daylight through it, so keep working. Alright, looking good here. So you can see my dilemma here, how I can't get the right angle, so I'm going to swap this here for a different angle. See if I can flip it upside down. Handle's in the way, so it's removable. Yes, perfect. So now getting cut all the way through. This is some seriously thick gauge brackets here. I'm gonna see what I can do to continue this cut. So now you can see there's some spot welds here and there's some jagged edges here and some slag here. So what I'm going to do is take the cutting bit off and swap it out for the thicker grinding bit. So I'll swap this out and then I'll clean all that up. Grind off the weld here and then just clean everything up. So the grinder makes some pretty serious, kind of gouges in it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap over to a sanding disc and then smooth it out a little bit and get it ready for paint. So what I did there was take out some of the grind marks and make it look nice. And now I can I just rounded everything out, cleaned everything up. So now you can clean everything off and now it's ready for paint. You can use chemical cleaners or whatever. I'm not going to get too fancy with it since it's so low and it's going to get annihilated by rots and stuff like that. So I'm just going to fog in a little bit of paint here to prevent rust. So I got about 15-20 minutes worth of time in changing that bracket from that bracket to that bracket. And if you're doing any type of welding, fabrication, any type of work like that, you're going to need a right angle die grinder, and I would recommend the Milwaukee. So if you're interested in adding the Milwaukee 4.5-inch angle grinder to your collection, I will leave links for it down in the description of the video. I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching and encourage you to subscribe. Thank you again.